What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I wanted to talk about making quick silver for casual players, and what I mean by that is people who get off of work, only have an hour or two to play every day. Some activities that I think are currently good and would recommend to you guys, especially if you're a beginner all the way to end game. Obviously, the more mastery or the more gear you have in general, you'll be making more. But even as a new player, if I were to start the game all over again, this is what I would do. So I made a list of things I think are pretty interesting to talk about, and maybe you guys will agree with me or have your own ideas of stuff to do. But anyway, in no particular order, I just made a list of things. Number one is gathering and processing. Now, a lot of this comes into play when you're whether you're a beginner or all the way into guru. Gathering is probably one of the best life skills I would recommend to everyone because it keeps the economy going. And also it's very easy to learn. It's just, go to a resource like a tree and then chop tree or whatever, and then you get the materials. But with that said, there's a lot of things you can actually do with it. So you can take it a step further and process it, or you can go find other areas and then turn the materials into something. So yeah, if I were to start the game over again, if I were to try to make silver without having to grind too much and without too much knowledge of the game, I'd probably start gathering. I should make a video one day talking about my favorite spots to gather. Granted, what I do is a little bit different because I actually use the materials and you don't have to do that. But anyway, in the current day, I guess October, November, whenever you guys are watching this, gathering has always been pretty solid, but right now it's, even more because materials like Capra stones, everyone needs those. Prices are going down a little bit, but also black gems, sharps, and everything are over the past months, these have been pretty good. So gathering is actually worth it compared to when sharps are 2 to 3 mil. Now they're at least over 6, so it's double value, I guess. And then everyone needs all the other materials for enhancing, whether you're a life skiller or PvE PvPer in some way. All these materials are always good. And yeah, so also what I'd recommend is stocking up on materials, whether you plan on going further and beyond crafting, cooking, alchemy, processing, or whatever. Just start hoarding all your materials into a storage, and then look at BDO Lytics or something, BDO Codex, one of those sites, and then just look up, hey, I have X amount of materials. What can I make with these materials? And then turn it into profit. So yeah, that's what I would do, and then, make some stuff for profit. And you don't really need to know that much about the game. All you have to do is look up some, stuff. It's here, I have this. Let's make this, sell that, right? All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is fishing. As we all know, fishing is pretty good. You literally don't even play the game. You just set yourself to fish, come back a few hours later, and then you're just a couple hundred mil, if not billions of silver richer. It's pretty good, actually. So whether you have the pay to win rod or not, there's a lot of different things you could do. Finding the most optimal spot really just depends on your server or the time of day. What I'd recommend to most people, just fish at the Velia coast over here. That is probably the most consistent silver. I've talked to a lot of people, and people also agree that just consistency over getting that prize 1 billion fish once every 5 days or once every week, you'd rather get a consistent amount of silver. So Velia Beach is always good. I have some more in-depth videos of what I do, how to get started with fishing. I'll leave those in the description if you're curious to watch it. Those are a little bit longer videos, but more detailed, and what you need to get started, whether you're free to play or you have to pay to win rod. We talk about all that stuff. So yeah, fishing, overall good. Literally, you don't play, you just leave the game on, go fishing, and then AFK. And then yeah, very good for casual players. Let's say you are playing another game and then you just have BDO on the side and easy money. Pretty cool, huh? The next thing I want to talk about is actually something like it makes sense, but you don't really think about it as much, which is doing daily events and login rewards. So I was listening to some other people talk about this early on and how much silver you can actually make by literally just logging on and, you know, collecting your login rewards and all this stuff. If you have a good month, sometimes you get a lot of silver like this one. This was pretty good. You get a bunch of outfits, cron stones, and like fail stacks. If you know how to turn that into silver, all of that's pretty good. And then even if you don't, it's just stuff you could sell on the market, log in every day, and then of course, you know, just logging in to collect all of this, eventually turn these seals into something that could be billions of silver and whatnot. So yeah, login rewards are kind of like everyone knows they're there, but no one really does the math on how much it actually makes. And I think usually on average, it's, you know, couple billion every month just logging on, which is pretty nice. And then doing events. This one will obviously depend on your server, or I guess, I guess like your server, or if you're playing on console, I know it's a little bit different. I don't follow console patch notes as frequently as I do PC, but I look at it every now and then. But generally, here's how you know. Besides reading the patch notes, you see this icon over here. I don't know if console should have it because it's just like a UI thing. Click this button, find the events, and just look at all of these things that are like new and, you know, start doing those. And then a lot of the events are pretty good actually, and are pretty low effort in my opinion. Not low effort as in like they're bad events. They're like you don't play for 15 hours a day kind of, if that makes sense. So yeah, these are pretty good. Recommend just looking at it every now and then. And then yeah, so the next thing I want to talk about is setting up workers. Now, this is something when I first started the game in 2016, I kind of ignored it for quite a while, is because I didn't really know what I was doing. But recently I made a video talking about my nodes and worker setup, and admittedly mine is more complex than, you know, some others, but here's what I'd recommend to all of you guys in the most basic form. You look at your worker tab right here, right? You look at the grades. You want to eventually upgrade them all to artisan. It goes from like what, white tier, green, blue, yellow, and then artisan, orange, like professional, whatever. Artisan's good. Every other tier less good in the most short-term way to describe it. And this is something I even put off for a long time because it's like workers, if you min-max it, it literally makes hundreds of millions of silver every day. I think I watched a video talking about like what you do to min-max them. And in short, like without going into a 30-minute video, see all the skills. When you get artisan, you unlock more stuff. And then once they hit a certain level, you could either re-roll them or, you know, hope they're good. But for like beginners and everything, I would try to start at professional. And then once all your things are professional, either upgrade them or work on investing energy into going into artisan. And then once they're all artisan, I would consider that mostly good. And then if you want to min-max it, then your daily passive silver will always go up. So yeah, check this tab, check the town thingy, and you just start going one region at a time. I understand this can get completely confusing and everything, because when I did this, I just want one region at a time in one town because there's a lot of them. And then, you know, it wasn't that bad. I think I got like converted all of them from like professional to artisan in about 2 weeks of like maybe spending 30 minutes a day. Not really even, just like re-rolling energy and then hoping to get it every now and then. But yeah, that is a good thing that I would start recommending. The longer you put it off, it's just more passive silver loss. So even if you don't really care too much, just try to work on it whenever you have energy. This is why I talked about the benefits of having multiple characters, even if you only play one as your main. And yeah, it's pretty good. So setting up workers and nodes, I have a video. I'll leave a link in the description on my entire node worker setup. And I went through this region by region and told you to high value nodes. So once you get all artisans, pick the high value materials that you need, and it does it a lot faster than someone who doesn't have all artisans. So yeah, it's actually good, but no one really talks about it as much because it's kind of a complicated thing, but I broke it down. And okay, so next we have cooking and Imperial delivery. So cooking is probably one of the most long-term investment for silver you will ever do. I think cooking is low-key really good, but you just have to have a bit of knowledge, and it only gets easier over time once you do it. So like, for example, let's say you are doing cooking and you're trying to make cron meals, for example, right? Everyone uses them. You're a PvPer, PvEer, life skiller. The thing is, when you first think like, oh, I want to make these cron meals as well, what do I do? You look at the ingredients and then you're like, okay, so I have to make other meals to turn it into this meal. It's basically like 11 different steps to make everything and then turn it into the end product, which are these cron meals. However, once you do it once or like twice and you're just like, all right, I need these materials, it gets so much easier. I think cooking and alchemy are one of the two top life skills that will, like, you know, make you a lot of silver over time. And it's good for casual players because all you do is get the materials and just passively with your workers and nodes, and then you turn it into stuff, and then you don't really play the game. It's kind of like playing a different game itself. But anyway, yeah, cooking, alchemy, definitely always good. And even if you aren't like super invested into it, something I'd recommend doing every day is Imperial delivery. So what you do is you see these, you want to try to get to Guru as fast as you can, because basically you turn materials into boxes, which is basically like deleting them out of your inventory, and then it gives you silver. So for like a 2-minute activity every day, you just turn them in, and then it's good. It's always profitable. Well, admittedly, cooking is profitable. Alchemy itself is kind of breaking even, if not like minimally profitable, but at least do cooking. You're gonna have to do some extra math on the alchemy one, but yeah, just keep that in mind. So yeah, even if you buy the materials straight up off the market and then you turn it into boxes and then just deliver it, it's actually profit. So yeah, 2-minute activity, recommend doing it. The way you can figure out how many turn-ins you can do every day is your contribution number divided by 2. It only goes by whole numbers, not half. So like, for example, you see a 471, that'd be 235. And then this is the amount I could turn in total every day. I'm too lazy to do the extra 5, not gonna lie. I usually do it by 10s, but it is what it is. And then, yeah, do that. Always good. For me, I would say, even if I were to buy all the materials off the market with my mastery and everything, I could buy everything, turn them into boxes in 2 minutes, turn it in, and make like about 130 billion profit after all the, you know, fees of buying it and everything is calculated. So yeah, it's definitely something you should do every day, and it's pretty good. Next thing I would recommend is probably doing your weekly bosses and daily bosses. And I have a separate video. I know this is kind of like a lot of different topics together, but I made a video on the important quests you guys should do for silver and just like free-to-play players, progression, and everything. So I'll leave that in the description. But doing your weekly and daily bosses, even if it's field or world bosses that come up every day, those are actually profitable. One of the changes they made with the recent patch was they made the normal bosses like, you know, Zarka, Karanda, Kudum, Nuver, all those things. Those are more profitable, and then the timer that they stay spawned is 15 minutes from 30. So you go in, you get materials, and then it's just more silver overall. What I would recommend doing is putting a character on, you know, a certain boss, like for example these over here, or, you know, this one is at Zarka, this one is at Karanda, Kudum, Nuver. Put the characters there. It doesn't even matter how much damage you do. Well, it does in a way, but it also doesn't. So more damage, higher rewards, but doing damage is better than not doing damage and just getting stuff. So yeah, always nice to do. If you want a more in-depth topic of that, and like I break down each tab of what quest you should and shouldn't do in current day, check that one out. And we talk about the ones that are pretty profitable and worth doing. And I think that's it. So there's probably a lot more things, but we'll just save it for part 2 if we do that in the future. I just wanted to give you some important things that I would recommend doing early on, and I thought that was an interesting topic to share with you all. So with that said, just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you guys come back, and be sure to stay tuned for more videos coming out soon. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.